All right, hello everybody, welcome back. So, Gunforged is releasing on February 17th, as I mentioned yesterday, and also in an email that I sent out. So we're getting down to the wire here, and gonna have a lot of stuff to do. So today's stream, I've got some bugs that I want to fix. We'll see how long I spend on them. Right now I'm fixing some bullet collision issues, and I'll get into what exactly the issue is in a second here. But before I get started, please check out the links in the description below. Those are all the ways that you can support me. Most important thing you can do is wishlist Gunforged, which is the first link in the description. But you can also check out my Udemy courses if you're interested in learning how to build a complete game in the Godot engine. There's a C# course and a GDScript course. I've actually got two GDScript courses, but one of them is for an old version of Godot 3, so you probably don't want to get that one. But check those out in the description below, and also like the video, subscribe to the channel, watch my other videos, all that good stuff. Everything helps. So with all of that out of the way, hello Neozoid, welcome back. Always good to see you. Hello Metaphorical Code, great to see you as well. Luca, welcome back. Hello Rin, great to see you. All right, so how's everyone doing this morning or this afternoon, or I know it's late or early morning for you, Rin. Hello Jose, welcome. So one of the issues that I'm trying to fix right now is there's not a lot of issues, but there are some specific issues with my bullet collisions. So specifically for the frog bullet, previously this frog bullet had its collision shapes offset like this, and that was causing all kinds of problems when they're not at the origin. So rather than do a bunch of math to figure out how bullet collision should work when that's happening, I am simply now, I am just putting all of those collision shapes at the origin. Now that's fine for the frog bullet, but there's going to be a problem here when I get to the necromancer bullet, because this entity is Y sorted on the entities layer, so it looks like it's, you know, in the game with everything else, and that means that the feet are at the origin here. But the problem is that I need these shape casts here, this shape cast and this collision shape 2D. They both need to be like here. So that's going to be a big problem, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to fix this bullet specifically, but we're going to cross that bridge when we get there. Right now what I'm trying to do is, so I'm being very particular about this, probably to a degree that's not super helpful, but if I have ricochet on the frog bullet, for instance, you can see that they bounce off the walls. But the problem is that if I get right up against a wall, I've just fixed this morning, but I wasn't able to, with some bullets, I wasn't able to be right up against the wall and get like the bounce going like this, like off the wall. So I've fixed that, but now there's one other problem, which is where if I'm like right here, if I do this, the bullets just immediately die. And the reason why that's happening is because the bullets are doing a raycast initially. Frog receiver. So they're doing a raycast initially from the receiver's origin position. And you can see that the origin position is like in the middle of the visuals, right? Now the problem is with these up direction collisions, the player can get right up to where the origin position of the receiver is actually inside of the terrain. And that just causes the collision detection system to cease to work. But if I back up enough where that receiver's global position is now not colliding with terrain, the ricochet works as expected. You see, it works up on this side, which is good, but that's because the collision shape has been moved up the wall a little bit. So all of that is to say, I've got to add some conditionality here. So what I've got going on here is when the bullets are created, I do an initial shape cast here. And I'm going to do this just to be safe. Just add a 1 pixel offset. So this is called when the bullets are initially created. What it will do is it will check which direction the bullet is going. It will take the width of the shape, divide that by 2, and we've got the half of the width here. And then it sets some positions based on that value. I'm not going to get too deep into that. But then I do a raycast from that gun position that I was mentioning earlier to the position that this shape is going to be at, or actually this is the very edge of this shape. And I see if there's any terrain in between this point and this point. And if so, I adjust the position of that initial shape cast down here before I go into check shape cast. So that all works great, but now I need to add another condition, which is, actually, before I do that, I want to check something. I'm going to launch this. Oh, wait. Yeah. Haven't reached your C# course yet, but certainly will soon. IDK, whether it's covered there, but here's a question. What are good sources on game programming patterns? Well, there's a website called Game Programming Patterns. That's very helpful. But yeah, beyond that, I'm not really aware of many resources. I'm not the kind of person that like reads programming resources, at least not very often. So I don't have any good ideas off the top of my head here. But there's a website called Game Programming Patterns, which probably would be helpful. Do I utilize them much in Gunforge, or is composition sufficient enough? Yeah, composition is sufficient enough. I'm sure I'm using, like, the thing about that Game Programming Patterns is that you may be unintentionally or inadvertently using a programming pattern without knowing what it's called. And I'm sure I'm doing that. Like, I don't look at my code and I don't go, what pattern could I apply here? That's almost never what I do. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat, speaking of frog guns. I just try to abstract things to a reasonable degree for what I'm trying to accomplish, such that the code becomes more extensible. And I'm sure I bumble my way into certain patterns that you could give a specific name by doing that. But composition is definitely one. I know that there's like a command pattern. There are other patterns related to, well, I actually can't recall any right now. But yeah, that is a good resource, the Game Programming Patterns. Okay, so I want to see if I do this. If result is not equal to null. Okay, so result is null. Okay, so what I want to do here, so that's what I was wondering, else. So now I've got to check the position here. So I got to do a point query, which I already have here. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this. So var mask is equal to this. That should be a uint, yep, and we'll put that in here. Mask. And then in here, this is going to be the mask there. Position, origin. Okay, so I actually don't know what I'm going to do here. Maybe I should do this first. Let me think. Yeah, I should probably do this first. So yeah, let's do this. If get world 2D. Okay. Var point query result is equal to this. Kerblam. If point query result is not equal to null, then what I need to do is I need to reset the raycast origin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say var raycast origin is equal to origin. And I think what I'll do, let me think, what do I want to do here? I'll just use a hard-coded value. So basically what I'm seeing is if the origin position being passed into here is intersecting with the terrain already, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to what am I going to do? I think I can get away with just doing this. I think I can do raycast origin plus equals vector2 dot down. Let's just do half a tile. And then in here, I'll do raycast origin. And then we'll use this original origin here. Okay, so basically what's happening, and I'm usually not for commenting code, but this is a case where I would do it. So check if origin position is already intersecting with terrain at the time of shooting. Check to see if there is a terrain intersection between the raycast origin and the target position. Okay, so those should be enough comments there. So I'm going to query to see if I am in the terrain, and then I'm going to modify this raycast origin by just moving it down. Do I want to do that? Let me think. I actually probably don't want to do that. This is going to be very hairy. Well, actually, that probably is okay. So if I move the raycast origin down, it's going to... the raycast is going to be out of sync with the direction that I'm aiming, but I think that's fine because all I'm trying to do is just see if there's a terrain collision. So let me see. And I'm okay, like, all I want to do is handle the 95% case. Like, I just want to get the frog bullets working such that the overwhelming majority of the time they don't die when they're not supposed to. And I think that will be fine. So if I do gun frog left, hey, look at that. So now that I'm up against this terrain, that point query is checking and seeing, oh yeah, I'm already colliding, so we'll just shift it down. So yeah, if I get into the corner here though, I mean, that might just be a problem of the ricochet though. So that's working. That's working. So if I get right up on here, that's working great. And then if I do this, if I go here, that works. What if I do here? Perfect. Okay, so that seems to be working just fine. Now the question is it going to work? Visible collision shapes. I want to make sure that I can still hit entities, because part of that initial shape cast too is to handle the case when enemies are like right on top of you. So if I'm right on top of an enemy like this and I shoot, I want it to hit the enemy, right? Because if I just spawn the bullet at the barrel position, I would miss the enemy in this case, but that feels really bad. So I'm hitting the enemy with my bullets even though the enemy's like right on top of me. But if I go past a certain point, like right there, then the bullet stops hitting. So it's just mostly just based on what feels good. But yeah, this seems to be fine to me. Now the other one I want to try is the dragon barrel. Add element, quick load, ricochet. Because the thing about the dragon bullet is that it is very large. So if it still works with the dragon bullet, I'll be happy. We're thinking the same game programming articles composition is one there. Oh, very cool. I think it's how most of us do when the project scales to a certain point. We unintentionally use them by all those abstraction layers. Yeah, I think that's right. Game programming patterns, yes. I am a bug fixer. Thank you, Rootbin. Welcome to the stream. Thank you, Snupbill, for the IDR 20,000. Very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Generous as always. Good morning, Christopher. How you doing? Snupbill, explain. Yeah, we need the lore. We need the lore. Okay, so gun dragon left. Okay, so yeah, so this is still working. I mean, it's actually a little bit... It's a little bit wrong, but I think that's fine. Actually, it's not wrong, it's just the position is being changed. Yeah, it just looks weird. So because the bullet is so large and I'm shooting into the wall, it's offsetting the bullet position to be like right here, and then it's applying the ricochet. So it's going at the correct angle. So if you see, it ricochets off at that correct angle. But as I get closer to the wall, it just starts coming out more directly from the player instead, which is fine because I primarily want to make sure that the ricochet works and the wall just doesn't eat the bullet. Okay, so now I want to try it with the Necromancer gun. Now the Necromancer gun is going to have to be an interesting one because gun Necromancer left. So the reason that this is going to be weird is because... Why is this one going to be weird? Let me put Ricochet on the Necromancer gun as well. Necromancer barrel. This is going to require a lot of testing too. This is a dangerous thing to be changing in a couple weeks before release, but again, the primary concern is like, I just want to make sure that it feels good to the player. So yeah, this is entirely wrong. And I think this is entirely wrong because, let me do this real quick. So I don't want to commit that change. I don't want to commit that change. Frog bullet, bullet component. Okay, so basically the bullet component is all the changes that I want. So there's a lot of physics checks going on in here, so I hope that should be fine. I don't think it's gonna negatively impact performance at all. But we'll see. Okay. So fix various bullet issues. We'll commit that. And now for the Necromancer bullet, I'm going to try something. So these, yeah, the thing is about this, I basically need all of my collision checks to be at the root here, which is a little bit unfortunate, but let's just do this and let's see if that ricochet stuff works now. Because I'm not accounting for that offset. Now, I probably could account for that offset if I wanted to. If I wanted to have, offset things like that. But you can see the ricochet is still kind of working, I guess. I don't know. These Necromancer bullets are weird. I think I would probably need to put in more up, but you can see that it's basically working. I don't know why. I don't know why it's not exactly working in this case though, but yeah, these bullets are kind of weird. But the problem now is that now that those collision shapes are moved away, the targeting is going to be a little bit weird. Because the skeleton it tries to move. Well, let me think. I might be able to get away with this. I don't know. Pathfind component, or no. Pathfind travel definition. Set target position. So let me do this. I think if I do this, if I add an export variable here, private float, target position offset. This returns what? The hurt box. Yeah, so it's going toward the hurt box, which makes sense. Actually, maybe that's fine. Maybe the way it is fine, actually. It's just going to be a little bit weird. I mean, this system was not built to handle entities, necessarily. But as long as it's still making contact, I think it'll be fine. So let's try spawn tardigrade. As long as they're still hitting things, I think it'll be fine. So I just got to be careful. I can't be using offset collision shapes. Now this, see, like this is working fine. I mean, the ricochet just generally doesn't work that well on these kind of entities. What is going on here, though, is really bothering me. So I'm going to do a little bit of debugging again. Just do a little bit of debugging. $20 million, I wish. Speaking of programming patterns, I am a TDD, test-driven developer. If you ate good food, it's yummers. That's true, you can't argue with that. Usually depend on who cooks it, not an expert. There's your yummers lore, you're welcome. Thank you. I'll tell you what's yummers, a double quarter pounder with cheese. Yes, we all thank you for the lore. Yeah, I figured TDD would be hard with Godot. Honestly, TDD becomes like really hard anytime you're doing something that's not pure code. And it's like, ugh. I mean, I guess in a technical sense, working with Godot is pure code, but if you're trying to see like if nodes interact properly, I can imagine that would be very difficult. All right, let's go ahead and put a breakpoint here. And I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna click, boom, okay. So we're getting a direction that should be basically up. Yeah, previous position, raycast origin is equal to the origin, okay. So we're checking the shape cast. Now, maybe my shape cast is wrong. Let me see. Oh, the shape cast is not checking for secondary terrain. That might be it. That might be the entire issue here. Okay. I'm not even gonna finish that debug loop because this point query result is gonna be null, I bet. Oh, wait. Point query result. Oh, I'm doing this check wrong anyway. This is always an array. So dot count is greater than 0. I was doing that check wrong. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to actually do some more testing here. I don't want to be offsetting that position. The other thing I need to do, oh man, I need to also check that bullets are spawning correctly from this direction. Yeah. So as long as if I'm up against a wall, I should still be able to shoot gun dragon left. Yeah, that's fine. That's also fine, cool. Okay, so that's working. Let's go to the graveyard level, or the cave level rather. I'll just say every level that's not the one I want to test. Gun necromancer left. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's working. Look at that. So now that I'm doing that collision check properly, the skeletons for the most part are being placed correctly. Now that's even without the, I mean, that's even without, if I take off the ricochet here, I wonder if that's still gonna fix it. That would be ideal if it does. So again, I just don't want the player's bullets to be deleted because like the player's too close to a wall or something, you know what I mean? It's like, that would be very not fun. Okay, well, they're still dying here, but that's... I guess that's expected because, yeah, they're not ricocheting, so... I think they're being spawned in the right spot and then just immediately dying, but that's how every other bullet works, so I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Okay. So now, if you have ricochet, it should save you from being right up against a wall and shooting. So, and of course, if you're not shooting into the wall, it should work anyway. Okay, perfect. And I don't think it'll be the case that, yeah, it should be fine. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. I think that's working fine. I'm gonna have to do some testing and make sure that all of that is good for sure. But there's my necromancer bullet changes. Yeah, I mean, I think this is not ideal, but like these collision shapes being the way that they are, not ideal, but I mean, it's fine. I mean, it works well enough for how janky this is, I guess you could say. Because again, this bullet system was not originally designed to handle pathfinding entities as bullets. So the fact that it works as well as it does is quite frankly amazing. So it's not going to be perfect without, you know, overhauling a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to call that good and we'll move on. So close all this, open this up so I can discard these changes here. Let me commit this first. Final bullet fixes. And the reason I was doing all that is because now I can set myself up for making other guns that have pathfinding entities like chickens and whatnot. Although, you know what would be really funny? The chickens could be pathfinding in the sense that they seek enemies like the skeletons do, but it would be funny if they were flying, like just like because chickens don't fly, you know, so it'd be really funny. Anyway, let's discard all those. Okay, I'm gonna call that good. Done. I still have to fix an issue with the frog visuals, but quite frankly, I'm tired of debugging, so we're gonna do something fun instead. You can't rely on TDD in game dev since it's not just code reliant, they're always practical in-game tests, but I guess to each of their own. There's not a good replacement for checking what design results, as but for systems, I really have to. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a place for it. Like, I could imagine if you're building a procedural generation game and you want to make sure that every level is beatable, like if you're doing a procedural generation level that has to have certain things in order for the level to be beat, but because of the nature of procedural generation, you're not sure. What you could do, like in a test-driven manner, I guess, is like generate, you know, 10,000 levels, like the data structure for 10,000 levels, and just perform a variety of checks against that. And then if there's one that fails, you could log the seed or whatever so that you can go in and debug why it didn't generate correctly. That would be a good use case, I think, for TDD, or just like having, like, you think about stuff like Stardew Valley, right? If you've got a ton of dialogue options that all have different conditions that require unlocks and stuff, being able to simulate all that in a test environment rather than having to manually play test it would be really, really useful as well. So there are definitely situations with like more data-oriented systems that you could, but obviously you're not going to be able to do test-driven development for like how the game feels and like what is the progression like in terms of its subjective feeling to the player, right? Hello, Polaris. Welcome back. Great to see you, and thank you. Like, for instance, I could test that a scene, one setup matches a hierarchy before needing to test it with my eyes. Yeah, that's true too, yeah. Found you through your Udemy grid-based puzzle game course. Really enjoying your approach to teaching. You are definitely one of the best tutors out there. Thank you, A. Lamau. Very much appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying the course, and yeah, thanks for your message. Perhaps it would make sense to handle the problem with spawning checks and not the raycasting. That way it won't interfere with anything else. Well, I mean, that's what the raycasting is doing. It's checking spawn conditions. KFC gun that shoots buckets of chickens. I was thinking live chickens, but only test important system that should never fail. That's a good point as well. I mean, that's where tests almost become mandatory, like at least in the professional software world. If you've got like a billing system, you should probably be thoroughly testing that in an automated way. Developing a game that has puzzle blocks matching that has a lot of tight logic, so not a lot of design, but a lot of making sure that the interactions work. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, there's a place for it, for sure. Anyway, so let's see. What can we work on? So these things, let's see. I did already update the trailer, so I'm going to mark that as done. I need to update the Steam page assets. Which is a pain, but I'm not going to do that on stream. I have, let's see. A temporary protective bubble appears every X seconds that blocks enemy bullets. That, I really want to do that. Enemies that die while affected by bleed and haunt have a chance to spawn a flesh monster that leap slams enemies. That sounds fun too. Gain a permanent minion that rotates around you and blocks bullets. Then of course we got the bee gun, the laser gun. Yeah, my friend had a good idea. It's like, I'm trying to think of an affix that would go with the bee gun, but I could just use the homing bullets affix that I already have. And I think that would work fine because it's like angry bees chasing you down, right? I want to do a laser gun, a Xerox gun, or like a printer, like a copy. You know, I can't use the word Xerox because that's a brand name, but I could call it just like a copy gun, paper copy. What is it called? Copy machine gun. That's right. Yeah. And then I want to do an axe throwing gun as well with the totem affix. I also want to add an intro. So a lot of people said I want like a little bit of story. So I was thinking about doing like the most minimal thing possible, which is like when you first start up the game, like the player falls down into the hub level and just like says something like he's not all there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like crazy. So, but give it a hint like, you know, he was like this guy who was insisting like these magical creatures existed, and then like he feels vindicated when he drops into this level, and that's like all the story that you get. The chicken gun, yeah, I'm tempted to do the chicken gun. Hello, Emerson, welcome back. But I also want to try this temporary protective bubble because I want to see how that feels, and I think it might feel pretty good. So I'm gonna try this. A temporary protective bubble appears every X seconds that blocks enemy bullets. Yeah. I definitely want to try making that. So, let's see. What am I going to do? Yeah, the question is, there's going to be a couple of edge cases here, I think, but we'll see. So passive, new folder. I wonder if it should be... Yeah, we'll just try it the way that I'm thinking of it first. Now I gotta figure out what to call it. Can't make it last too long, so I'm going to try these numbers first. Max stacks. Let's do 2 max stacks. Let's turn down the loot weight to 8. Do we want to do an unlock condition? We'll make this evasion. Cooldown time. I don't really need a cooldown time for this because there's nothing proccing it. So do I want to do an unlock condition? I'll figure that out later, I guess. Name me, please. Okay, so let's create a new scene. Bubble passive. Scenes. Component. Passive. Bubble passive. Script. Game.component.passive. So this needs to extend player passive. Okay, so what am I doing here? Why is this? Oh, Necromancer muzzlefly. Why are these things being modified? Come on, Godot. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need a timer. And this is the interval timer. Wait time, what did I say? 8 by default. One shot. Let's just do auto start, I guess. Node, private. Timer interval timer. Public override void ready. I'm trying to think. Interval timer dot timeout plus equals on interval timeout. And then I want to do this public override void increment public override. What is it called? Oh, stack added, stack removed, void stack added. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, protected. If occurrences equals 2, we're going to set the interval timer dot wait time is equal to, what did I set it to initially? 8. Let's make this 10 and then we'll knock it down to 8 if you get the second stack. I think starts the timer. Let's do this. I don't know if start resets the timer, so I'm just going to stop it, set the wait time, and start it again. That's the safest way to do it. And this needs to be 10. Okay, so let's create a new scene here, and we're going to create, this is going to be protective bubble, game object. We'll just make it an entity, I suppose. It's fine. Entity is just kind of like the generic term that I'm using for everything. New placeholder texture, 32, 64 in the X, and 32 in the Y, or 48 in the Y maybe? Yeah, that's fine. So this is kind of what I think the bubble is going to look, the shape that the bubble is going to have. Material, no, visibility. Turn the alpha down a little bit here. Obviously I want to, oh, that's kind of a small bubble, isn't it? Good thing I checked that. I think that's a better size. I don't want to make it too large because it's going to block enemy bullets here. So let's go ahead and add a collision shape or a static body. Do I want to make it a static body? Yeah, I think I want to make it a static body. Static body 2D. Now this is going to have a different collision mask here. I don't want to use bullet terrain. What is bullet terrain? Is that used in the stalagmite crab? Yeah. So I'm going to need to use a different layer here. No, I don't think, I don't think that's a good idea. I was going to say I could just use the player mask there, but I don't think that's a good idea. Wait, is this mask? Collision mask, yeah. So I need the layer here to be secondary terrain. I can't use secondary terrain because that will intercept the player bullets as well. So I think I need to do enemy intercept. Enemy bullet intercept. That's fine. So I'll just go ahead and do enemy bullet intercept there. Perfect. Add child node. We'll do a rectangle or a collision shape 2D with a rectangle. Here. New rectangle shape 2D. Static body will leave the origin, I suppose. And we'll go ahead and drag this so that it matches the shape. Roughly matches the shape. I don't want it to, because the bubble's going to be curved, so it can't really be matching exactly. Well, I guess that's probably all right. I'm just going to kind of guess where the curve is going to come in. So there's our static body 2D there. So now what I need to do is for the various enemy bullets here, show in file system. Enemy bullet, I'm going to need to update these raycasts. So enemy bullet intercept. Oh, does this need to be changed too? No. I mean, I'll just keep looking though. I never even had a collision shape. I'll just go ahead and fix that. It just should not check any terrain or anything for that one. This one, I believe. Oh, wait. The rat bullet doesn't have a collision shape either. Very interesting. I wonder why that was. Collision. Huh. Interesting. Okay, enemy spiral bullet. I guess I won't fix what ain't broke. Should I fix what ain't broke? The fact that it's not correct is kind of bothering me. Well, I guess I'm not really checking. Oh, man. Do I dare update all the bullet collisions so that the masks are the same? So like this character body 2D needs to have the same terrain mask as the Shapecast 2D at least. So they should all have enemy bullet intercept on the character body 2D level, but then my player bullets, these need to have a mask of bullet terrain as well. So the thing about the Shapecast 2D that's interesting is that it's checking terrain collisions as well as entity collisions. And the character body 2D is only supposed to check for terrain collisions. And the reason is because I'm updating the Shapecast every physics frame. So I'm not like doing it every single frame, but I am doing the move and collide on the character body 2D every frame. So I just need to make sure that those are consistent, I think. But I don't know, it's fine. Yeah, OCD intensifies. I mean, I get really like antsy when the consistency isn't there, but I also probably shouldn't fix what ain't broke. So it's making me antsy. I should just leave it. I shouldn't touch it. I shouldn't touch it. Okay. Okay. Is that all the types of enemy bullets? Let me think. I think so. So now that I've got this protective bubble in place that has the enemy bullet intercept layer, I do think, actually, let me think. No, I think at least for the enemy bullets, I should also set this enemy bullet intercept for the reason that I said, which is that it's updating every frame. The move and collide is updating every frame, whereas the Shapecast isn't. This needs to have enemy bullet intercept set there, as well as there. Enemy rat bullet, enemy bullet intercept. I think that this is a good change for sure. There we go. Okay. Whew. Oh, wait. Oh, I am checking for static body 2D. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think that's fine. Protective bubble. Cool. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, cool. Actually, I do need to give that a script, but I'll wait on that for a second here. Boom. I might as well add a script now. GameObject.entity. Resource preloader.instance scene or null. Protective bubble. Bubble.global position equals, I'm going to have to get a random position there, but then I want to do this dot get base level dot entities or get parent dot add child bubble. I'm kind of bouncing around a lot here, but There's a method to my madness. So we need a timer here for the lifetime. So on timeout, we're just going to do a queue free. And I actually want to set this to auto start as well. Okay. So bullet global position. So I need to basically choose a, so this dot raycast terrain. Player position is equal to this dot get player dot global position or vector 2.0. So player position, we're gonna do private const float range is equal to, let's do min range. Min range is equal to 96. Private const float max range. What's 96 times 2? Are there any math whizzes? It's 192. Too slow. Okay, so we're going to raycast terrain var target position is equal to player position. Player position plus mathutil.rng.rand. mathutil.rng.rand direction times mathutil.rng.randf range. Min range, max range. Okay, we're going to do target position, and then we're going to do the collision mask, which actually by default is correct. So I don't even need to do that. Var result is equal to that. Target position is equal to result dot position, and then fall back to the target position that we decided. Bullet position is equal to target, or bubble position is equal to target position. Then we add the bubble, and that's it. Okay. Now, hopefully, if I did everything correctly, it will be correct. Oops, I left that message on the screen for too long. Okay. Add passive bubble. New passive, name me, please. Oh, there it is. Bloop. Now we get to see if it works. So I'm not going to shoot anything. Ooh, it works. And I should still be able to shoot. Okay, it doesn't last very long. Are you kidding me? What are you doing? Okay, so I need to actually change that. Collision offset. How tall is it? Oh, I guess I do. We'll just do 64. It's fine. Okay, I'm actually going to change this. This interval timer, let's bump this up to 15-second wait time. Actually, I can't go that high. I can't go that high because some of the waves aren't that long. So I wonder if I should have, what do you guys think about having a different trigger for the protective bubble? Should I have something else? What do you think about this? So instead of spawning the protective bubble on like an interval, the protective bubble could spawn when you hit 0 stamina, right? So if you have one dash and then you dash, you'll get a protective bubble at the end of your dash. But if you have multiple dashes, you don't get a protective bubble until you use all of them. What do you guys think? Those crabs are awesome. Yeah, thank you. I like them. Yeah. Love both the gameplay idea and the art behind it. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. An entity dropping from barrel, and you have to pick it up to trigger. Yeah, some kind of like trigger. Yeah, some kind of trigger or pickup would be interesting. Actually, that would be interesting, right? Like just add it to the drop table. Oh, that's an interesting idea. So a passive that adds that item to the loot drop table such that it's just random in terms of you kill an enemy, it can drop. Although I don't know if I'd add it, make it a collectible item. That seems like a roundabout way of just making it like trigger on certain kills or whatever. I mean, I could also make it so that it's like killing an enemy has an X% chance to spawn a protective bubble. That might be better. I think the stamina method is an interesting way to trigger the protection bubble. Yeah, I think so too, because the reason I like triggering it when you hit 0 stamina is for a couple reasons. So one reason, hold on a second. YouTube is complaining about my audio. Is my audio quality okay? The audio stream's bitrate. Oh, I guess whenever I stop talking. Oh wait, do I not have music playing? What happened to my music here? Hold on, give me a second. YouTube paused my background music. Wait, it did it again. Or it was just at the end of a song. Okay. YouTube, why are you doing this? Why is... Like, these freaking tech companies, man, are just making life miserable for some reason. I have background music streaming for a reason. You don't need to automatically pause so you could save on your data costs. I'm using the data. Stop pausing stuff for me. Stop putting autoplay on. Stop autoplaying videos. Stop turning my sound up for me. Like, just stop. Google, YouTube, X, Instagram, stop. I'm tired of your shenanigans. I'm using the data. Jeepers. Triggering protection after last dash ball seems consistent and has some depth to it. That way a player can trap themselves from having it when they get multiple dash trait. Yeah, so anyway, before I went on my little screed, I was talking about the reason I like triggering it on using your all of your dashes is because if you don't have a lot of dashes, that means that you don't have a lot of ways of avoiding damage. And so you get a buff to your ability to avoid damage when you have lower dashes, right? But like you said, when you have higher dashes, it doesn't trigger as often unless you are really aggressive in using your dashes, right? So it's like it becomes less useful the more damage mitigation you have through your dashes. Also, it kind of interacts interestingly with the Gym Rat passive, which uses your stamina as health, because in that passive, what happens is you die if you take a hit while you're at 0 stamina. But if you use the protective bubble with it, then if you get hit such that your stamina goes to 0, it should automatically spawn a protective bubble around you, even though you didn't manually use the dash, right? So it's like you get a free, like, get out of jail free card if you have both of those together. But the other thing is that this bubble passive, it's not going to block floor-based abilities. So it's not going to block like those AoE things. So it only really is going to save you from the bullets that are about to hit you. Yeah, I think I like that. So we'll trigger it when the dashes become 0. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Hello, Alfonso. I love the art you do. It's amazing. I'm practicing A-Sprite, but I'm trying to make sprites like Stone Shard game. Any advice? Seems a little complicated, but I like that art. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question because like Stone Shard has a lot of very intricate pixel art. That art style in particular is really hard to do because there's a lot of detail. There's a lot of blending of different colors together and like gradual gradients and stuff. And just like lots of texture, but the sprites still look crisp and clear. It's really hard to add a lot of texture to pixel art without making it look muddy. It's like it's like another skill set on top of pixel art. Like I'm using very flat colors, which works for me, but going into that level of high detail is an entirely different beast. But I would say like, and I think the only way to get better at it is to practice. I will say that there are some pixel artists on YouTube. Pixel Pete is one of them. He often does critiques of very high detail pixel art with lots of shading, and just watching him and how he critiques the different pieces of art was super helpful for me, at least in understanding the thought process behind why you place every pixel and every color the way that you do. So I would watch that. You could also go and watch there are pixel artists on YouTube that just do like a video where they just create a piece of art from scratch, and I would watch that and see like how they're placing the colors, how they're gradually building up the sprite. Definitely just like seek out those people and watch, like if you can find a video where they're either critiquing something or where they're building a piece of pixel art from the ground up. And there's a lot you can learn from just watching that, but otherwise, yeah, probably just gonna have to practice. If I try to do higher detail art like Stone Shard, I probably would have to spend quite a bit of time to get good at it. So yeah. Yeah, no music. Audio is fine, but the music is long gone. Yeah, yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah, these companies, man, time to stop. I think the synergies between all the passes you have in game is awesome. Makes the game feel deep and really good to play. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. So, okay, so that's what we're going to do for this one then, is we'll make it trigger on dashes. Appears when your stamina hits 0. The bubble lasts 3 seconds. So we're just going to change that. So that means we're going to get rid of this interval timer. And we're gonna have to connect to that player now. So this dot get player dot player dash manager or dash manager dot connect player dash manager signal name dot dashed. Do I want dashed? Wait a minute. Current dash is updated. No, I probably want current dash is updated. I'm gonna have to see if this will work with that gym rat passive. I'm pretty sure it will, but I just gotta make sure. What's really annoying about these Godot signals is I have no way of going, like, I would love to just be able to click this and go directly to the player dash manager signal, but I have to go in here, I guess. Int, oh my gosh. Okay, well, callable.from. I would fix that if I was interested in doing so, but I'm not, so. We're just gonna create a long argument list that means nothing. I have to see if that works with the gym rat though. Let's just leave that there, it's fine. So if I want to have it max stacks of 2, then what I want to do is when your stamina hits 0. The bubble lasts 3, so we're gonna change this. 3 plus 0 minus 1 times 2. So we'll add an additional 2 seconds to that. And then this protective bubble, I'll do this. Set lifetime, float time, timer.wait time is equal to time, timer.start. Okay, and so I'm just gonna get rid of auto start on this. And it doesn't matter, I don't need this wait time here, so I'll undo that. Bubble.set lifetime is equal to 3 plus occurrences minus 1 times 2. Okay. Okay, so that should be interesting. So now let's go ahead and test that. Are you using 64 by 64 pixel art in this game? Love your Udemy courses, by the way. Thank you, Tim. Very much appreciate that. I am roughly basing everything around 32 by 32. So each tile in the game is 32 by 32. The player, I believe, is a little bit... the player is roughly the same size as a tile, and then I kind of build everything in relation to the player size. So you can see that the training dummies are roughly the same size as the player. If I spawn a rat, it's a little bit smaller than the player, but then I also have enemies like the spawn cannon goblin, which is a little bit larger than the player. So I'm just making so it's kind of loosely based on a 32 by 32. Off-topic question, but I was wondering how you feel about Godot adding typed dictionaries to GDScript. I think it's nice for setting their values in the inspector. Yeah, I mean, I'm all in favor of more typing in GDScript. I mean, one of the things that's keeping me away from using GDScript very prolifically is that, one, I mean, just like the lack of like proper abstract and virtual methods is kind of painful for me. And I don't think GDScript will ever go in that direction just because it's not that kind of language, but also the lack of typing for like dictionaries, and you know, it used to be that there was no types for arrays and stuff, so like more typing is generally like, I'm 100% supportive of that. Especially when you're talking about assigning things through the inspector. Like the more tightly you can lock down what a valid inspector configuration is, the less mistakes you're going to make as a developer, right? If I can go in and look at the inspector and know like, oh, this is a dictionary, but it requires these types, that's just going to make everyone's life so much easier. GDScript doesn't have proper interfaces, too limited for complex stuff, but great for simple prototyping or those who have no programming experience. Yeah, I mean, I think you can make a complex game in GDScript. The problem is that you are going to run into issues where like you might want an interface or a virtual method or something, and then you kind of have to figure out a way around that. Anyway, what was I doing? Spawn protective bubble. Or no, spawn, what? That's not even a real command. Add passive bubble. Okay, I want that to be at the end of my dash. So... oh, I have a player dash ended. Okay. So let's try this instead. Game events dot connect game events dot signal name. I've got signals just flying all over the place here. This dot get player dot dash manager, current dashes is equal to 0. So I want to spawn that at the end, because otherwise it's kind of useless if you spawn it when the player starts, you know, when the player starts dashing. Hello, Adaton, welcome back. Great to see you. Static types are so nice. Dynamic types, you can easily shoot yourself in the foot or have to add extra functionality to make sure that dynamic type is what you're expecting. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Feel the same way, more typing is better and easier. Now I just wish they would add nested typing. Ran into that issue a couple times now. Nested typing. Oh, is like dictionary nested typing? Is that what you're referring to? Oh, okay. I was like, that's not right. The problem is I'm still making it spawn in a random location. So I definitely don't want that to happen anymore. So we're going to get rid of all that raycast check. We'll just spawn it right on top of the player. So spawning it at a random location made sense when it was on an interval, but now that it's spawning on dash, it should just be on top of the player. Okay, I was very confused. I was like, something is very wrong here. It's because something was very wrong. And passive bubble, boom, boom. I get my little protective bubble. It lasts for 3 seconds. Should I add a cooldown timer to it, or? Because, yeah, I probably should, because if your dashes regenerate fast enough, you just have infinite. Although the protective bubble doesn't protect against ground-based or AoE stuff, so if you have to move out of the bubble to avoid something and you don't have a dash, you're gonna be in trouble. So maybe it's fine, I don't know, maybe I don't need a cooldown. I guess I'd have to test it, but... And then let me just make sure that this is gonna work if I... Yeah, okay, cool. So now let's try this. Cool, that does work. Oh, but the problem is that it's not going to trigger if I get hit by something. Right. I want it to trigger whenever it changes. So that was why connecting to this was going to be nice. Okay. Health changed event handler. How am I going to handle that situation? Is there a nice, elegant way that I can do this? I think there is a nice, elegant way that I can do this. Oh, no, there isn't. I think I just might have to add logic to specifically handle the case where I'm using that gym rat passive. Absolutely add the cooldown timer. You may implement stamina buff traits later on, and it might be a deadly combo. Yeah, but I'm not opposed to it. I mean, as long as it's not going to be super OP, because the area is relatively small, and also, like I said, it doesn't block AoE damage. So you're realistically not going to be able to just sit in the bubble the entire time. You're going to have to move outside of it. It's still going to block bullets, though, so you can kind of use it as a shield. Yes, that is true. You could spam it, but like I said, I don't know if that's going to be as good of a strategy as it sounds like because of the AoE damage that's going to be happening. You can nest classes in GDScript already. Yes, you can nest, yeah, like inheritance for sure. But yeah, generics and stuff. Yeah, that's true. So here the problem is that I'm using the player dash ended, but to spawn that bubble. But the problem is that that doesn't work with if you're using the gym rat passive and you get hit. So I think what I might have to do is... Damage received was consumed. On current dash is updated was consumed. What does that mean? I might be able to get away with this. Hold on. Oh, yeah, that just tells me that it was used. Okay. So I think what I need to do probably is... maybe I'll just add a new signal that can fire in here if the current dash is a 0, so I know that that resulted from a hit. I wish there was a better, like, more automated way I could listen for this, but the problem is that the current dashes gets updated when you get hit by something, but also when you consume the dash. But I need to spawn the bubble at the end of your dash if you dashed, or spawn the bubble immediately if you got hit. But as of right now, I have no way of distinguishing if you got to 0 dashes because you used a dash, or because you got hit and a dash was taken away from you. So I think what I'd have to do actually is do it in this damage here. For set current dashes, and then I could say in here if dash manager.current dashes is equal to 0. I'm going to emit this signal. Public delegate void stamina as health depleted event handler. So now I can go in here, health manager connect player health manager dot stamina as health depleted event handler. Oh, dot signal name stamina as health depleted callable dot from on stamina as health depleted. Private void on stamina as health depleted. Spawn bubble. Okay, I think it's not a huge change. I kind of wish I didn't have to do that because it's just one more thing that I need to keep in mind whenever I'm checking things. I mean, but I don't think there's a better way to do it. They're planning to add traits in the future. There's even a merge request that has implementation and only needs testing. Very nice. I guess I'm not super clear on what traits are. Is that like kind of like types? Like you can specify what traits belong to a class, and then that allows you to create certain methods for that class. Like it's almost like a multiple inheritance kind of thing. The issue I was talking about is actually called nested typed collection. If I try to type a variable as an array of an array of nodes, Godot says it doesn't support nested type collections. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, let's see if this works. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, because I'm never emitting the signal, right? That would be why. Ooh, I gotta try something here. Actually, let me try this. I really gotta make sure that if the bullet is on top of the player, it doesn't... Oh. I don't want the... Like, if an enemy's inside the bubble and it shoots the player, I don't want it to detect the player hit first. If that makes sense. I don't know how that's gonna work, though. You know what? This would be easier if I just went to my hub arena here. And I had spawned on the entities layer. Protective bubble. Just put that there. And then if I try to get the rat to get right up in my face, I could also disable the rat movement as well. Oh, I just closed it. Not really, they're separate from classes and you can then say what class should implement. I see. I'm just not familiar with that term traits, I guess. Come on. Okay, that hit me, but that's because I was outside of the bubble. Come on, get inside the bubble. Okay, it seems to be working. Yeah, I think it's working. Try to hit me, copper. Oh yeah, that's definitely working. Yeah, cool. I was worried that that wasn't going to work and I was going to have a can of worms on my plate. But yeah, any enemy bullet that spawns inside, even if it spawns on top of the player, just gets destroyed immediately. Oh yeah, that's definitely working. Oh yeah, mm-hmm. The impact particles are a little bit wonky, but I think that's all right. Oh, that was my fault. All right, let's just throw a bunch of stuff at me and see if I take any damage. Ah, nice. Oh, you guys think you can kill me? What are you guys doing? Spawn, spider, centaur, 5 or 4, I guess. Oh, I'm so happy that works and that I don't have to worry about taking damage. Very nice. You can just think of them as interfaces without diving too deep into them. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I think I'm pretty confident saying that this is working. So obviously still need to do art for this, but I think that the bubble size is pretty good, honestly. You got a little bit of room to move around if you need to dodge something, and it's a pretty large area. And it also, I mean, it blocks things, so you can use it as like a barrier to just block, but you can also stand inside of it and take no damage. So I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Was there anything else that I wanted to do? I did check and make sure that works. It does work with the stamina as health passive, so that's good. Cool. All right, so we got to do some art for this. I updated all of these collision masks correctly, I think. So that's good. Bubble project.godot. Cool. All right, so added or initial work on protective bubble passive. Okay, I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break, and then when I come back, we'll do some art for this. But in the meantime, please wishlist Gunforged on Steam. It's the first link in the description below. And you can also purchase one of my Udemy courses. The links for those are also below. And I'll be right back in 2 minutes, and we will continue on with this bubble art. Alrighty, I'm back. So let's go ahead and get this art done. I think this will be relatively simple, but I've said that before and it's been disastrous. So we will see what's going on. So 96 by 64 is the size that I've got going. This is kind of like making me nervous because if I ever decide that the area is too large or too small, I am going to have a problem on my hands because I'll have to redraw. I'll have to redraw the bubble area. But that's fine. I'm okay with that. There are worse things in the world than redrawing some pixel art. That bubble looks terrible. Okay, that looks a little bit better. this needs to go up a little bit more. May need to adjust the shape, the collision shape as well. May need to go up even more. Oh gosh, freehanding this is very difficult. Oops. That doesn't look terrible. I think it's a little bit weird up here. Maybe I just want to extend this out a little bit. Yeah, I mean it looks kind of weird, but we don't really know what to do about that. Let's see. No, that's terrible. No. This might be one of those quit while you're ahead situations. Oh, that looks nicer. Get a little bit more evenness in the size of these things over here. This, I wonder... I mean, this part here looks a little bit weird, but I'm not sure that there's much I can do about that. Let's see. Nah, it's okay. It's all right. Assets, entity, new folder. Protective bubble. Okay, so now the question is, how am I actually gonna make this look? I think I'm gonna basically just kind of borrow what I did for the health globe, which is I kind of put like a little blue inner outline on it. And then I'll also change the outline color a little bit as well. So away from pure white, I'll give it some extra colors. So there's that. Do I want to do it down here as well? I don't think so, actually. I think it would look better if I did that. Maybe this might even look better if it didn't have a bottom. No, I think it needs one. Oops. Oh, that looks much better. Yes. Might even bring this. Actually, let's do that. Perfect. I think that's good. So there's that. Just put like a shine right there. Actually don't know. It's very hard to make something look transparent with pixel art when you can't use transparency. It's a self-inflicted rule. But let's start. I'm going to start just using a different color down here. I'm going to open the health globe. Assets, currency. Why is the health globe in the currency? I do not know. That's a much better color. I do have some of this here still. So add this outline here. I'm sorry, there's not much to narrate here, so I don't really have much to say. And here I'm placing this pixel here, and then I'm placing this pixel here. Although that does look better up there. Oh, what? Dang it. My outline is incorrect. Oh my gosh, I have to do that all over again. Why was that incorrect? Is this not centered? I don't understand. Oh, I guess... Oh, maybe it's just an odd shape. That looks like it's the center, but it's not. Okay. We'll just go again. Okay, now it's correct. Oh, I gotta add animation for the protective bubble as well. We'll use a good old tween for that. Use a good old tween. And then what did I do? I think I had it like this. Okay, that works. And then here, wonder if this would look better if I took this and just kind of... Or maybe if I did this instead. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really supposed to use transparency, so that's going to be a little bit awkward. But I think what I could do is give it like a base. So if I took this, oops, take this, copy, paste, just flip it. Oh wait, somebody told me I could do... There we go. So we can give it... I don't know if I want to use that color. Wonder if it'd be better to use blue here. Or not blue, but yeah, blue but darker. Or maybe even like a purple or something. Okay. This color, I really don't like that gray that I'm using. So we'll just fix this up here. That purple, I mean, it looks kind of good, but there's something off about that. Maybe if I used... let me think. Maybe I'm looking for more something like this. That looks better to me. And then I can use the darker blue maybe. No. I should probably see how this looks in game before I do a lot of work with this. I think the flat color probably looks better. I think I'll just leave the flat color. Makes it look like it's behind the bubble more. The Y sorting is going to be interesting on this. But let's see. Whoop. 98 by 96. Oh, 66. Yeah, so this offset, it probably should be like here for the Y sort, I think. Yeah, and then this static body here, this collision shape, will bring this down. I think I probably do want to change this to a circle. I'll probably use 2 circle shapes, actually. So I'll take this. Or maybe I need to use... Oh, you know what? I could probably do... I want to make it match the visuals somewhat closely. Okay, let's keep this. I might be able to just... You know what I'll do? I'll do this. I just don't want like this spot here to be intercepted by bullets as well. I think that's going to be a little bit weird. But what I'll do is I'll duplicate this, make unique. I'll move this up and I'll just shrink it down a little bit to match this segment a little bit better. It's kind of like anyone ever do any calculus where you've got like the, what is it, the Riemann sums, where you've got a curve and you're just like estimating the area under the curve by doing a bunch of rectangles. That's kind of what I feel like I'm doing. Doesn't need to be perfect, but I think, you know, at least not having these huge gaps over here where like a bullet will just die up here. That will look kind of awkward, but I think this is fine. And there should be no gaps in here. And actually I can probably, let's see, just drag that down just to make sure there's no gaps. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. Let's see. I was like, why is this still transparent? Because I did not. There we go. Okay. All right. We got our bubble. Let's see how that looks in game, and then I'll add an animation for it. Animation should be relatively easy. Okay, so add passive bubble. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna have to play with the Y sort some more because it looks like it's in front of me right there. So maybe the Y sort that I had before was better. So if I take this sprite 2D offset, I actually think it does need to be right there. I'll take this static body, these shapes, and just move them back up. Let's see how that looks. I want it to look like I'm inside of the bubble. Wait a minute, am I thinking about this wrong? Do I need 2 different layers for this? Because I don't want that back piece to render in front of the player, but I don't think I can change that. This looks awkward too. Okay, I think the original position that I had actually was good. So right there. This back piece, though, I might need to make that a separate piece to get that to look correct. Well, let's see. Yeah, because if I cross this threshold here, so that looks fine, right? So like I'm phasing through it in a sensible way. Problem though is that if I'm like right here, that's wrong. So I think I have no choice but to make that a separate piece. So we'll cut that out, paste it, background, foreground. We'll just do that, and then we'll do protective bubble. Background. Okay. Actually, let's duplicate this. Protective bubble background. I'm gonna have to turn on Y sort in here so that it Y sorts its children. And then this sprite 2D, let me think. What do I want this to do? I want its Y sort origin to be on here, and then I move it up. Oops. I think I did that correctly. Guess we'll find out. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, look at that, I did it correctly. So now it looks like I'm actually standing inside of the bubble. Watch this, boom. Get away from me. That's so cool. So as long as I'm just in the bubble, it'll block things. And then, of course, if I leave the bubble, it should block things as well. That's really cool. I like that. Oh, I'm in danger. Awesome. I should make it animate every time it intercepts a bullet, like it bounces a little bit. That would be a little extra, but it would be kind of cool. But anyway, let's not worry about doing extra right now. Let's just get this working. Okay, so let me do an animation now, and then we'll be good to go. So I do want to create an overall node 2D here. You're not supposed to scale static bodies and other collision shapes. So I'm just gonna put this into its own like visuals node that I can scale by itself. And I have to turn on Y sort for this as well. This is the foreground, right? I don't need these to be named, but it's a good practice, I suppose. Node private node 2D visuals. Okay, on ready. Var tween is equal to create tween. Tween property. Visuals. Scale. Vector 2.1. Duration 0.3. Dot from. Vector 2.0. Dot set ease. Ease type dot out. Set transition. Between that transition type dot back. And then we'll do the same exact thing here for when we die. So this actually needs to change because I need to node private static body 2D. Static body 2D. This needs to collision layer, have it set to 0. I could queue free it as well. I don't typically like to do that though. So I'll just set the collision layer, and just for safety, I'll set the collision mask to 0 as well. And then in here, we're gonna do a tween.create tween here. We're gonna do 2 vector 2.0 ease type dot in tween callback callable dot from queue free. Okay, that should do it. Simple, easy animation. That's what we like to see, right? And then I'll go ahead and run it and we'll just see what happens. I just turned back in from work. Is that too oval to match the perspective of the floor? Too oval. I mean, yeah, the floor perspective is just off because it's like pure top down, but everything else is like facing you. So like the perspective in this game is not perfect, and it's not going to be perfect. So in other words, yes, the perspective's wrong, but I don't think there's really a definitive way of fixing it. Are you saying that oval needs to be larger or smaller? Okay, why did I spawn that? I just mean like you could make the contact area more circular. Okay, I could try that real quick. I can try that real quick. Seems already pretty difficult for you, the developer, to align yourself with the shield. I mean, the thing is, like, it's not that you have to stand in this area to get the benefit. The shield, the entire visible area of the shield blocks bullets. So it's not, I mean, the perspective looks weird, but it's just, it blocks everything. It's not limited to a certain area within the bubble. It's just like the way that this game works is that regardless of the perspective, when visuals come into contact with each other, then that's when the collisions happen. So even though the bullets have like a little bit of a shadow that kind of implies some kind of depth, if the bullet visual overlaps with an enemy, that it hits it. It doesn't matter what the depth is, it doesn't matter anything. The perspective and the depth is mostly just for like visual art purposes, but it doesn't have any effect on the actual gameplay. Like, you might as well just imagine everything's flat with no perspective whatsoever. And that's how everything in the game works. So like if I'm in the bubble here like this, it blocks every bullet. See, there's no depth to it. So I mean, I could make it more circular, but yeah, there's no reason that you have to stay inside of it. But maybe I could make it larger just in case players do think that they have to stand inside the circle. And blink a bit. Oh, you mean blink like when it's dying? Let me just see what happens if I move this up. Obviously, I'd have to change the art, but if I just make it like that, I mean, is that something that would look better? Let's see. Add passive bubble, spawn wrap 5. Does that look better? I guess that does look better, huh? You like that? Okay. Well, I don't like how that's looking in terms of the arc here, so I'm gonna just tweak it a little bit. Ah, shoot. Well, that's fine. It looks a little bit odd there, so I'm just going to make this section darker. Actually, does that make sense? Just make it a little bit more curved there. I think that's fine. Let's take a look. You're more matching the safe area with the visual for the player to understand. Let's see. Yeah, I think that looks good. Yeah. Maybe it could curve a little bit more aggressively. But I think that was better, yeah. Maybe make this curve a little bit more too. Actually, it looks fine. It's basically the same kind of curve. The inside arc could be purple to give it a sense of depth. Well, that's why I made it darker. It didn't look right with purple. But maybe it will. Let's try it. Hello, Aniki. Welcome back. Great to see you. How you doing? Maybe a darker purple even. Busy, but overall quite well. Well, busy's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, I don't know if I like the purple. I don't think either of those purple colors work. So I'm just going to keep it at this darker, darker teal or whatever it's called. Makes it easier to see. Okay, I'm just going to call that good. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead here. Thank you for the suggestions. Protective bubble art updates. It gets lost, yeah. I tried purple earlier and it wasn't working that well, so I agree that a purple probably would look good, but it would have to be a purple that's not in my color palette, I think. Or it'd have to be lighter, but I don't think lighter would work. Anyway, I think that's fine. So, yeah, I think that's fine. Let's see. Temporary productive bubble. Done. Let me update this. That. Actually, I haven't tested to make sure that it works with multiple stacks. So let's see. Because I think I increased the duration to 5 seconds. Bubble lasts 3 seconds. Bubble lasts 5 seconds. Boom, boom. Oh yeah. I'm sure that will have to be nerfed in some way. I might give it like an internal cooldown. An obvious thing to do, I guess, would be to delete the old bubble when it, but I'm just gonna, I'll have to play test it like this. I'm sure I will end up nerfing it in some way. I don't like the idea of adding a cooldown to it, and the reason is because that will feel unresponsive, right? So like if I dash and I spawn a bubble, and then I dash again and a bubble doesn't spawn, I'm gonna be like, wait a minute, why isn't it working? You know, as a player, I could note that it's an internal cooldown, but that works better with things that are like automatically proccing. I don't want to do that for things that you can like intentionally trigger, because that just feels awkward. But I might have to do something, either probably definitely remove any existing bubbles that are on the screen. And then also, I mean, I could always reduce the duration of it as well. I don't know. I have to think about it. I haven't play tested it, what this actually feels like in a real game. It's possible that the bubble is good, but it's not that good, and so having multiple of them isn't a problem. But yeah, I'll have to test that. Anyway, that's going to be it for the stream today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for support. It was very nice talking with all of you. And thank you to all the VOD watchers and the lurkers out there as well. I appreciate you. Gunforged is going to be releasing on the 17th of February, so you are watching the final moments of development here. But so go ahead and wishlist that. The first link in the description is a link to the Gunforged page. And also, you could check out my Udemy courses. I have those available for sale. Those are also linked below. Everything you need to know about how you can support my work is linked in the description below. So please check those out, and thank you all again for watching. Let's see. Does it take damage and die? What is stopping multiple bullets from letting you just sit in one spot? It does not take damage and die. The thing that is the bubble's weakness is that it doesn't block AoE, area of effect damage. So those circles, the danger circles that appear on the ground, are still going to be dangerous even if you're inside the bubble. So it's really only a way of blocking bullets. You're not going to be able to just sit there though, especially in the later waves of the levels, because there's going to be AoE attacks coming. So it's going to be useful as like a, put yourself in between the bubble and the bullets for the enemies and like have it absorb, but it's not going to be like permanent immunity or like perfect immunity, I guess you could say. All right, that's it for the stream. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a good day, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.